Welcome everyone from coast to coast. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sabrina Lava and I'm the LEAP Portfolio Director. If you're not familiar with the Zoom platform, there is a chat room function at the bottom of your screen. Please type your questions here and we will do our best to answer them during the question and answer segment at the end of the formal portion of this event. As an attendee, you will be able to hear and see the panelists, but your microphone will not be on. LEAP, Pecaut Centre for Social Impact, is a leader in venture philanthropy in Canada. We believe in a society where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential. We catalyze large-scale social impact by selecting, supporting, and scaling breakthrough social ventures and unleashing the potential of collaboration. Joining us today for this exciting launch are Joan Day, Chair of the Board for LEAP Pecaut Centre for Social Impact, Joe Manguette, Board Lead for Healthy Futures, and Audra Rennie, Executive Director, Worldwide Hearing. Joan, will you tell everyone the news?
Thank you, Sabrina. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. On behalf of LEAP's Board of Directors and staff, I am delighted to announce the call for applications of LEAP's new 5-year accelerator called Healthy Futures. The accelerator will coach, support, and help fund innovative and proven solutions that help prevent unhealthy behaviors and promote healthy behaviors. Poor health and weak immune systems contribute to chronic disease and increase the risk of serious outcomes due to viruses and infections. And the COVID-19 pandemic underscores the urgency of taking action now to improve the health of Canadians of all ages and regions. This crisis, though, also magnifies the urgency of finding solutions that reach remote and underserved segments of the Canadian population. The LEAP Accelerator is seeking to select and scale 11 high-impact organizations that prevent chronic disease and improve health outcomes for all Canadians. And our goal is to significantly increase the breadth and depth of their impact to achieve a healthier Canada. Let's play a video which explains the problem we are seeking to address through this initiative. And throughout the rest of the event, we'll share details of the accelerator and applications process. Sabrina?
At LEAP Pecaut Centre for Social Impact, we believe in scaling ventures that use new models to attack old problems. Chronic disease is on the rise. 44% of adult Canadians have at least one chronic disease. Meanwhile, 40% aren't getting enough physical activity. 70% aren't consuming enough fruit and vegetables. The cost to the system is projected to grow to over $190 billion a year. That's why we are launching Healthy Futures, an accelerator to scale impactful solutions. Does your venture have the potential to create a healthier Canada? Apply today at leap-pecaucentre.ca/healthyfutures.
Thanks, Sabrina. We urgently need solutions to address the social determinants of health and to change behaviors in today's world, particularly among underserved populations. If we do not act, the rates of chronic disease will continue to grow, adversely affecting the quality of life of hundreds of thousands of Canadians and their families. We hope you will join us. Joe, let me pass it to you to explain a bit more about the need for action.
Great. Thank you, Joan and Sabrina. I'm really delighted to be here today. We know that together we can make real impact possible by scaling innovative solutions to help prevent the unhealthy behaviors that are contributing to the chronic diseases that affect all of us Canadians today. The Healthy Futures Accelerator was informed by our Healthy Futures, The Need for Action research report, which was authored by LEAP and in partnership with the Boston Consulting Group. If you haven't downloaded it yet, please do. It's a great read, but I think I'm a bit biased on that one. The report critically examines factors influencing Canadians' struggle to move more, sit less, eat healthier, and to stop smoking. As you've seen from the video that Joan showed, Canadians are getting worse, not better, along most of these dimensions. Of course, we can do a lot better than this. Think about what we're all experiencing right now as Canadians start to emerge from a lockdown. Have you heard of this phrase, COVID-19-19? So during the last 2 months, How many of us have been eating well and exercising appropriately? Very few. Most are drinking more and smoking more. Some of us are carrying an extra 19 pounds post-COVID, so hence COVID-19. This behavior will make our statistics even worse. We need to reverse this trend towards unhealthy habits. We need solutions that work in today's world, but also ones that will be effective in a permanently changed post-COVID society. So, building on our success with the Google Impact Challenge Accelerator, LEAP, alongside our sector partners and ventures, is on an ambitious path. We are working towards a Canada in which Canadians have greater opportunities to live a healthy life and reach their full potential. For the past 7 years, LEAP has been a Canadian leader in venture philanthropy by selecting, supporting, and scaling 15 breakthrough social ventures. For the Healthy Futures Accelerator, LEAP has designed a thorough yet customized program for the 11 selected ventures who have identifiable impact potential and extraordinary leadership. It will include developing issue-specific cohorts to move the needle on targeted Canadian social issues, organizational needs assessment and capabilities review, targeted capability building projects, convenings, and workshops, project-specific pro bono support, and facilitated peer group connections to accelerate impact. And each venture will be assigned a LEAP portfolio manager to work one-on-one with you and on defined projects. So now I would like to invite Audra, Executive Director of Worldwide Hearing, to share her experience working with LEAP and what ventures can expect as part of the Healthy Futures Accelerator. Audra, over to you.
Great, thank you very much, Joe. So I'm very happy to be here. We were part, let me give a bit of an introduction. I'm the Executive Director of Worldwide Hearing, which is a nonprofit headquartered in Montreal. And I'm also the founder and CEO of a for-profit called Ear Access, and so which is a bit of a sister for-profit. So we have a bit of a hybrid-based organization. So happy to answer your questions after this. So Worldwide Hearing was a part of the 10 ventures that was chosen as part of the LEAP and support as part of the Google Impact Challenge. And so we had 2 years working with LEAP throughout this process. I have to say that it was extraordinary. And I'll just take a step back because I know a lot of you on this call are probably very busy leaders in your own organizations. And I think it's a fair question to ask, what is the value of an accelerator? When you're very busy, you're running an organization, you're trying to have a lot of impact. And we all have to be careful with our time. How much time do we invest in one thing versus another? I have to say, from my experience working with LEAP over the 2 years, that it was one of the most extraordinary programs that we worked with. And as an organization, really helped scale our impact tremendously. Over the course of the 2 years, we went from serving, so we're in the hearing aid access business. So we provide hearing aids and hearing care, mostly internationally in lower and middle income countries. And we went from serving 30,000 patients to 100,000 patients over the course of those 2 years. So it really came at a critical time, and LEAP really helped us through that process of scaling our impact. So it's not just about, we all need funding as organizations, and that really helps with impact, but it's also really about that scaling support. And what does that mean concretely? What LEAP has done, which is very different and quite unique anywhere in the world, is really assemble a group of private sector partners. So for example, organizations like Boston Consulting Group, McCarthy Tétrault from the legal side, and others, and has leveraged this network to help its portfolio of ventures help to scale their work. So providing very concrete sessions, support on any projects that you need. And I think one of the really important things here for us was that LEAP had really tailored the program to our needs and where we were at as an organization. So to give you a few examples, we had a consultant from BCG help us on our 5-year strategy plan, one-on-one, very directly, very hands-on. And that really helped us get through the planning and the operational planning for our 5-year plan. So that was tremendously helpful. Another highlight for us was a 360 leadership feedback session for executive directors and management staff, which really allowed us to get feedback from our employees, colleagues, board, etc., and have a kind of a tailored approach to how we need to grow as leaders as well to help grow the organization and scale that impact. We had, I would add, one of the other real highlights for us for the program were the people we met, the other ventures. LEAP does an extraordinary job of doing very excellent due diligence to pick ventures that are really providing a lot of impact. So we were really humbled just by the other ventures in the program, and we got to know them quite well in a very sort of open and transparent setting where we could talk openly about our challenges, and we all have challenges as we're growing organizations. So it's really helpful to build that sort of peer support of other ventures in sort of similar scaling paths and really exchange knowledge, insights, feedback, and LEAP really helps create that space for that to happen. I would say that the other differentiating factor for the LEAP Accelerator is the quality of the staff at LEAP itself. It really, LEAP really punches above its weight in terms of impact, and just the people we met through the program and the support they provided, often one-on-one when we needed sort of very tailored things to where we were at, and the networking opportunities we had throughout the program were really exceptional. So this is a program, and a little bit of context. I've been through other accelerators before, so I'm sort of speaking from experience. But this is really an exceptional program, and I would highly recommend it as you know, to anyone who's sort of in really looking to scale their impact or their social impact. And also potentially, you know, looking for growing their resources and thinking about how do we scale to that next level. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have after this. And I'll pass it over, thanks a lot, and I'll pass it over to Sabrina, who will share more about this program with you.
Thank you, Audra. Absolutely. Let's go to the website and I'll share the specifics. Through Healthy Futures, LEAP will provide in-depth strategic and operational support, coaching, as well as capacity building to really accelerate and scale impactful ventures across Canada over the next 2 to 5 years. Funding and pro bono support worth up to $10 million will be available to 11 social ventures, taking in their needs and stages of development into account. This work will be made possible through a financial contribution from the Public Health Agency of Canada, funds to be raised by LEAP from the private sector, and pro bono support from our sector partners, including Boston Consulting Group, Ernst & Young, McCarthy Tétrault, the Offord Group, Hill+Knowlton, and Google.org. Ventures who have promising solutions to promote healthy behaviors among Canadians and a focus on chronic disease prevention are invited to apply. Specifically, we are looking for ventures with the following: an early stage model or a growth stage program, population level programs or interventions for targeted groups, ventures that have a high impact potential for chronic disease prevention with passionate and dedicated leadership teams, and a desire to scale their own breadth and depth of their impact. Ventures can start applying today, and applications will be open until June 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Applications to the Accelerator can be submitted directly through our website, leap-picotcenter.ca/healthyfutures. As you visit the website, we encourage you to take a read, watch the video, and learn about the Healthy Futures Accelerator. Then navigate to the top to the Apply tab to fill out the application. You may also wish to tune into our webinar on May 28th to learn more. We'll continue to answer your questions during this webinar. We'll be sending out details on this webinar shortly and posting them to our social media. Again, please note the close date and time for applications is June 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern. All applications must be received by this time via our website. Thank you everyone for joining our launch today. We will now move on to the question and answer segment of this launch. Before we begin, there's a short poll. Please take a moment to answer this. Thank you. Great responses to the upcoming webinar. Now let's move on to answering some of these questions. The first question we have is around our due diligence process. And the question is, what is involved in LEAP's due diligence process? Joe, would you like to take that one?
Sure, I'm happy to. So our due diligence process it's pressure tested. We've done it before. There's 3 stages. The first stage is to apply. I guarantee if you don't apply, you won't be considered. So please apply. It's a straightforward online application, and we've also given you the opportunity to do a video application if it's easier for you. But what we're trying to understand is why your venture has the potential to drive a healthier future for Canadians. And then the LEAP team will assess a potential fit between your venture and our due diligence criteria. So that's stage 1. Stage 2 is selection, where we narrow down the candidates. So during that stage, you'll be asked to collaborate with the LEAP team as we assess your venture. And ventures that demonstrate strong and passionate leadership, impact creation, potential for scale, and capacity to work with LEAP and its sector partners are going to be the ones that are best challenged to benefit. So we'll focus on those. And that was pretty much the criteria that Sabrina laid out. And then the third and final stage is the pitch. So it's not quite a dragon's den, but we do ask pretty intense questions, and we really want to understand your motivation, your leadership, your capabilities. So the finalists will meet with the Healthy Futures Committee to explain how your game-changing solution will impact public health. Is that, yeah.
Great, thank you, Joe. That's extremely helpful. The next question we have is to do with the current pandemic. Is this accelerator trying to address solutions to COVID-19? Joan, I'll pass this question over to you.
Great, thanks, Sabrina. LEAP and our sector partners and the ventures are seeking to address the underlying health of Canadians. And we know that poor underlying health, chronic disease, weak immune systems make all of us more susceptible to viruses and infections. And with the COVID-19 crisis underway, we just see how important that is to have strong underlying health. And in particular, we're seeing the vulnerability of remote communities and regions and segments of the population. And so we're really going to be focusing on the underlying health that's going to prevent this kind of thing in the future. Thanks, Sabrina.
Perfect, thank you. The next question is around the time commitment. So what is the time commitment for the program? I'd be happy to answer that. We anticipate venture leaders spending about 6 to 8 hours in the first few months. We will provide you with foundational tools and resources to ensure that you succeed during the accelerator. You will work alongside the portfolio team members to really scope out targeted projects that help you scale the breadth and depth of your impact and the way you will receive funding and support during the cohort and during the time of the accelerator. And I believe we can probably take one more question. And this one is around how much funding will the venture receive? I'm also happy to take that one. The amount of funding, the predetermined funding, and its distribution process will be disclosed once the ventures are selected following the due diligence process. LEAP will work with you to identify opportunities and ideal and optimal ways in which the funding can help and really scale your ventures. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We are so excited to see all of the great work many of you are doing in public health and chronic disease prevention. We look forward to reviewing your application, which are received through the website by the close date, June 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Please share the news of the Healthy Futures Accelerator with organizations doing great work in this space and within your networks. Together, we can create material impact on public health in Canada. Again, we will host a webinar to answer all of your questions, so please feel free to continue to send them our way. Thank you again for joining this webinar and this launch, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a fantastic day.